Hello, fiction viewers. It's fiction expert Kristy again, and this week's element of fiction is figurative language. Figurative language is phrasing that goes beyond the literal meaning of words to get a message or point across. It works through figures of speech, like similes, metaphors, and personification. Other literary devices that are in figurative language are alliteration, assonance, and onomatopoeia. Figurative language is used to create vivid imagery. It can compare something to another to be able to bring it to life and add imagery, with a simile by comparing two things using like or as. And a metaphor is similar to that, but it describes one thing as if it were another thing, when in reality it's not. Personification, it gives human-like qualities to a non-human or not alive object. So this element of fiction is so important in fiction books and all books of all genres because it adds the imagery and senses that the reader needs to have to be interested in the book and to want to learn more and see more of the picture that's created in their head. Language like alliteration, assonance, onomatopoeia are similarities between the words that have similar starting and ending sounds just to add more interest in the book to create a bigger picture in the reader's brain. So, onomatopoeia is when the author is able to change noises into words, like pow and wow, and similar things like that. So figurative language has an impact on the reader more than one way. It gives imagery for the reader to understand the book, but it also creates a separate world for the reader to enter. When they pick up the book, you're in a whole different dimension. It impacts the reader's creativity when they're able to visualize something different than what any other person might visualize through the same language that the author is giving them, and it gives the reader a chance to dive deep into the book and to investigate the story and know what's happening. But figurative language is not limited to what it may describe to the reader. So, for example, a simile may bring more detail to a character or to the setting. So, this element of fiction connects to all the other elements of fictions. So, figurative language can be seen to improve theme, characterization, setting, or any other part of a fiction or real-life book. So, in the book of Time and Again by Jack Finney, he uses quite a few examples of figurative language in just the first few chapters when he's describing the setting and the characters, and just the beginning when he's getting into the book. So, in the beginning, on page 8, he's just starting off with adding characterization to a little side character. The quote is, "Frank Dapp, our art director, a round little package of energy, came trotting toward his partitioned office in the northeast corner of the artist's bullpen." So you can find a metaphor in this example because it's saying this character is a round little package of energy when people are not packages, obviously. So that's a good metaphor, and it's not a simile because he's not saying he's like a round little package of energy. He's saying he is a round little package of energy. So the next one is one where it has personification and a simile in it. It's a very unique piece. It's a very unique quote. It reads, "To the south, east, and west of the New York buildings rose high, hanging over the park's edges like a gang ready to rush in and cover the greenery with concrete." So this is when the main character and also main character, but he's not the star of the show. They meet and they're talking and discussing about something. So this quote has personification in it because the New York buildings are not they're not actually hanging over the park's edges. They're just standing like buildings do. And you can also find a simile because it says they're hanging over the park edges like a gang ready to rush in and cover the greenery with concrete. So it's comparing these buildings, which seem as if they're hanging over the park, comparing that to a gang ready to rush in and attack and envelop something. So I found that very interesting, and I think it's a great example of using both. So this is a very talented author. And my last quote is just a page after our first characterization figurative language that we found, page 9, when our main character, Simon, meets Reuben, who is someone who starts his adventure off, starts the plot of the book. He uses alliteration throughout the whole entire page. It's very interesting to read. When Simon's introduced to Reuben, there's a lot of words like hesitated, humorously, hurry, a lot of H words. So I think the hesitation just shows that the main character might be suspicious or curious about Reuben. 'Cause they're meeting and he doesn't know what's really going on, and Reuben's being very vague to Simon. And in the page, Reuben's trying to act very humorously to Simon to kind of break the tension, calm Simon down, make sure everything's okay. And then the hurry part's kind of like he was in a rush to tell Simon what was going on. So the hesitated, humorously hurry just kind of sets up what the plot of the book might be. It might be something with hesitation, like it might be like, what's gonna happen? What's happening here? Might happen fast, hurry, and it's probably gonna be humorous. So that might wrap up what the book's gonna be about. So I thought those 3 examples of figurative language were very interesting, and they impacted more than just they're going to impact the book. They're not just examples to pick out, but they have deeper meaning, which I think is very interesting. Well, I think we have covered what we need to today. Come back next week for our next element of fiction. Goodbye.